Let me tell you something nobody told you when you needed it most. Your life is not broken, your mindset is. And once you fix that, everything changes. Because success, peace, freedom, they're not out there. They're built in here. And it all comes down to two simple rules. Master these and you stop surviving. You start living. You stop chasing. You start leading. You were not born to be a reflection of your pain. That's the first truth most people never hear. From the moment you take your first breath, the world tries to put labels on you: too loud, too quiet, too much, not enough. Your environment starts shaping your thoughts before you even realize you have a choice. And over time, those external voices begin to sound like your own. And over time, those external voices begin to sound like your own. But let me say this loud and clear: what happened to you is not who you are. The circumstances you were born into, the mistakes you made, the heartbreaks, the failures, those are experiences, not definitions. They are part of your story, but they are not the headline. Your identity is not the sum of your struggles, it is the strength that rises in spite of them. Too often we mistake survival for identity. We think that just because we had to be strong, we are only strong. Just because we went through trauma, we are broken. We begin to believe that because we had to fight, we're always in a battle. That's how pain turns into personality. And when that happens, we stop evolving. We start living through filters of fear, of doubt, of past mistakes. But you are not here to replay the past. You are here to rewrite the future. And that begins the moment you stop wearing your scars like name tags and start wearing them like medals. Not because they define you, but because you defeated them. Your identity is yours to shape. It is not up for debate. It's not a democracy where everyone gets a vote. The moment you allow people, pain, or even your past to dictate who you are, you give away the power that was born in you. You weren't created to be a mirror of other people's projections. You were created to be a force, a movement, a message. And that message should not sound like shame. It should not echo insecurity. It should roar with purpose. Your story doesn't need pity, it needs pride. It needs to be owned loudly and unapologetically, because that ownership is what separates those who lead from those who say. Look around and you'll see it everywhere. People shrinking into versions of themselves that feel acceptable to the world, playing roles they didn't choose, living out stories someone else wrote for them. And the saddest part, most of them don't even realize they're doing it. They're stuck in autopilot, letting fear and familiarity write every chapter. But you get to wake up. You get to look in the mirror and say, this is not where I end. This is where I begin. The power of mindset isn't just about positive thinking. It's about radical ownership. It's about saying, I will no longer be the product of what happened to me. I will be the architect of what comes next. When you stop letting circumstances define your identity, you step into a different kind of power. You stop being reactive and start becoming intentional. You're no longer chasing validation or permission because you know who you are and who you're becoming. You start making decisions from vision, not from fear. You stop asking, what if I fail? And start declaring, what if I rise? That shift, that is where everything begins. Your goals, your habits, your standards, all of them elevate when you stop seeing yourself through the lens of the past and start seeing yourself through the lens of possibility. And here's the truth. No one is going to hand you this identity. No one is coming to fix your thinking or rewrite your narrative. That's your job. It's your responsibility to unlearn the lies and relearn your worth. To stop identifying with the struggling with the strength. Every day you have two choices: carry the weight of who the world told you to be, or rise into the identity of who you were always meant to become. Only one of those choices leads to freedom. Only one leads to power. And only one reflects the truth of who you really are. You protect the things you value, your home, your car. You set passwords, locks, security systems, but how often do you protect your mind with the same level of intensity? The truth is, most people don't. They leave their inner world wide open to negativity, noise, and opinions that don't serve them. Every day, thoughts come rushing in from social media, from the news, from people around you, and without realizing it, you absorb them. They shape how you see the world and how you see yourself. And slowly, silently, they start to build the walls of the life you think you deserve. But here's what no one tells you: your outer world is only as powerful as your inner one. If you don't control what goes into your mind, you'll never control what comes out in your life. You wouldn't drink poison and expect to stay healthy. So why do you allow toxic thoughts to circulate in your mind and expect peace? Doubt, fear, jealousy, comparison, they are mental toxins. And just like poison, they don't always destroy you instantly. They weigh you down slowly. They make you second guess your worth. They cloud your vision. They delay your dreams. Protecting your inner world means becoming ruthless about what you allow into it. It means unfollowing the noise, cutting off the conversations that drain your energy, saying no to the drama disguised connection. You are the gatekeeper of your mindset, and every time you allow negativity in, you're giving away power that was never meant to be handed over. What you consistently feed your mind becomes the foundation of your belief system, and your beliefs, they shape your reality. If you tell yourself you're not good enough long enough, you'll stop even trying. If you surround yourself with people who constantly complain, you'll start seeing the world as something to fear, not to conquer. The brain doesn't differentiate between what's imagined and what's real. It simply accepts what it hears often enough. That's why affirmations aren't cheesy, they're powerful. That's why boundaries aren't selfish, they're necessary. You have to be intentional with your input, because that input becomes your identity. Every word, every thought, every influence you allow in is either building you up or breaking you down. Think of your mindset like a garden. If you don't plant seeds of growth, weeds will take over by default. You don't need to invite fear, it shows up on its own. You don't need to water doubt, it thrives in neglect. But if you want confidence, resilience, clarity, you have to cultivate them deliberately. That means reading the right books, listening to empowering voices, surrounding yourself with people who stretch your thinking, not shrinking up. It's not just about being positive, it's about being aligned, aligned with your purpose, aligned with your vision, aligned with your truth. Because when your inner world is solid, no storm on the outside can shake you. Most people live on defense, reacting to whatever life throws at them, emotionally exhausted by every opinion, every rejection, every piece of bad news. But those who protect their inner world live differently. They don't just react, they respond. They don't absorb every criticism, they evaluate it. They don't get pulled into every storm, they know how to stay still in the chaos. And that level of control, it's not a gift. It's a discipline. It's built every single day by choosing what you let in and what you push out. Protecting your mindset isn't something you do once, it's something you commit to constantly. You wouldn't leave your door wide open at night and expect safety. So stop leaving your mental door open to anything that wants to walk in. Your peace is sacred, your energy is gold, your focus is priceless. Protect them with everything you have. Set mental boundaries like your future depends on it, because it does. Every time you allow negativity to live rent-free in your head, it costs you something: time, clarity, courage. And every time you reclaim that space, you step closer to the life you were meant to live. Not a life built by fear, doubt, or noise, but a life built by you. Everyone talks about motivation like it's the magic answer. Like it's the fuel that gets you from where you are to where you want to be. But motivation is inconsistent. It comes and goes. It's fleeting, fragile, and usually shows up only when conditions feel good. That's why relying on motivation is a trap. Because the moment things get hard, and motivation vanishes. Discipline, on the other hand, is unwavering. It doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't ask if you're tired, or scared, or uncomfortable. It just shows up, day after day without applause. And that's what makes it powerful. Discipline is the highest form of self-respect. It says, I'm worthy of the life I say I want, and I'll prove it with my actions. When you make a promise to yourself, I'll wake up early, I'll go to the gym, I'll start that business, you're not just writing a to-do list. You're writing a contract with your future. And every time you break it, you chip away at your confidence. You teach your mind that your words mean nothing, that your goals are negotiable. But when you follow through, even on the smallest commitments, something incredible happens. You start to believe in yourself, not because someone else told you to, but because you gave yourself proof. Confidence isn't built by hype. It's built by consistency. Real self-esteem doesn't come from compliments, it comes from discipline. People often confuse discipline with restriction. They think it's about deprivation, about saying no to fun, about living rigid and robotic. But discipline isn't about punishment, it's about alignment, it's about saying yes to the life you want more than the impulse of the moment. When you're disciplined, you're not saying no to pleasure, you're saying yes to purpose. You're choosing progress over comfort, long-term fulfillment over short-term distraction. And when you start living that way, you don't feel trapped. You feel free. Because there's no greater freedom than being in control of your own mind, your own habits, your own outcomes. Discipline sharpens your identity. It draws a clear line between who you were and who you're becoming. Every disciplined choice you make, whether it's waking up early, keeping your word, staying focused, is a vote for the person you want to be. You're not just acting disciplined. You are disciplined. It becomes part of your character, part of your DNA. And it influences everything. How you show up in your relationships, how you handle adversity, how you lead, how you grow. It's a ripple effect. One decision compounds into many. And before you know it, your entire life begins to shift, not because you got lucky, but because you got serious. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's often lonely. It means showing up when no one is watching, when no one is cheering, when the results are slow and the temptations are loud. It means choosing effort over ease, integrity over shortcuts, purpose over pleasure. But in those quiet moments of commitment, something sacred is built: trust. Trust in yourself. And that trust, that's unshakable. It's the foundation of every breakthrough, every success, every achievement. You stop second guessing yourself because you've got the receipts, you've got the history. You've proven time and time it matters, you show up. The world rewards consistency. It pays those who keep going, not the most talented, not the most privileged, but the most committed. Discipline is the difference between wishing for it and working for it, between someday and day one, between almost and achievement. And the truth is, anyone can develop it. It's not a trait you're born with, it's a muscle you build. One decision at a time, one day at a time. And once it's built, it becomes your edge, your weapon. Your silent power in a world obsessed with shortcuts, because while others wait to feel ready, you're already moving, already building, already becoming. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have, but it's also the most deceptive. It will lie to you. It will tell you you're tired when you're just unchallenged. It will say you're not ready when the truth is you're just scared. It will whisper that you're not good enough even after you've proven otherwise. The mind isn't always your ally. In fact, it's often your biggest obstacle. That's why if you blindly follow your thoughts, you will stay stuck. Not because you're incapable, but because you believed a story that wasn't true. The mind untrained will protect you from growth in the name of comfort. But growth isn't supposed to feel safe, it's supposed to stretch you. Most people confuse their thoughts with facts. They hear the voice in their head and assume it must be right. I can't do this, I'm going to fail, they won't take me seriously. These thoughts are not reality, they're projections, habits formed over time by fear, failure, rejection, and conditioning. The problem is not that these thoughts exist, the problem is that we believe them without question. The untrained mind operates on autopilot, repeating old patterns, reacting to fear instead of responding with purpose. But when you become aware of those patterns, when you start questioning the voice instead of obeying it, you unlock a different level of power. You stop being a prisoner of your mind and start becoming the master of it. Training your mind requires intentional work. It means paying attention to the stories you tell yourself every day. It means asking, is this true? Is this helpful? Is this who I want to be? Most importantly, it means learning to separate your thoughts from your identity. You are not your doubt. You are not your fear. You are not the voice that tells you to quit. You are the one who chooses whether to listen or not. That separation is everything. Because once you realize that your thoughts are just suggestions, not commands, you take back control. You stop waiting to feel like it and start doing what's required, no matter how uncomfortable it feels. The mind is a survival machine, not a success machine. It's designed to keep you safe, not fulfilled. That's why it constantly looks for what's wrong, what's risky, what's uncertain. It's trying to protect you, but in doing so, it limits you. Every time you think about stepping outside your comfort zone, your mind will throw warnings. What if you fail? What if you look foolish? What if it doesn't work? But rarely does it ask, what if you succeed? What if this changes everything? That's why you can't wait for your mind to feel ready. You have to move in spite of the resistance, because action is what rewires the mind. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's moving forward while fear still exists. You have to train your mind like an athlete trains their body. Repetition. Awareness. You don't get strong by showing up once, you get strong by showing up daily. And training the mind is no different. You train it by choosing new thoughts, by replacing I can with I'm learning, by replacing I'm stuck with I'm growing, by replacing what if I fail with what if I rise. The more you practice this shift, the more natural it becomes. Your mindset becomes your strength, not your sabotage. And in that shift, you begin to make decisions based on your vision, not your fear. Because ultimately, your life will always move in the direction of your strongest thoughts. If those thoughts are built on fear, doubt, and limitation, your life will reflect that. But if your thoughts are built on courage, clarity, and possibility, everything starts to change. The results you see on the outside are rooted in what you believe on the inside. That's why mindset isn't optional, it's foundational. If you want to create a life of purpose, power, and impact, you must stop letting the voice of fear lead your life. Lead with vision. Lead with belief. And lead with the truth that you control your mind, it does not control you. The people you surround yourself with are not just background characters in your life, they are the architects of your mindset. Whether you realize it or not, energy is contagious. The people you talk to, text, follow, and spend your time with influence how you think, how you feel, and how you move through the world. If you surround yourself with people who are always complaining, playing small, or making excuses, guess what? That mindset starts to rub off on you. Without even noticing, you begin lowering your standards, questioning your ambition, and settling for less. Your circle shapes your ceiling. And if the people around you aren't challenging you to rise, they're quietly conditioning you to stay the same. We often hold on to relationships out of loyalty, history, or guilt. We've been friends for years, we say. But time doesn't equal alignment. Just because someone has been in your life for a long time doesn't mean they deserve a front row seat to your future. You need people who speak growth, who live truth, who push you when you get comfortable, and who believe in you when your own belief wavers. And sometimes that means letting go of those who are emotionally heavy, mentally draining, or spiritually stagnant. It's not personal, it's essential. Protecting your energy isn't about being harsh, it's about being honest about who and what you allow into your mental space. You can't grow in a garden full of weeds. And many people wonder why they feel stuck, unmotivated, uninspired, only to look around and realize their environment is filled with negativity. You don't just need support, you need elevation. You need people who make you think bigger, not smaller. Who see your potential and refuse to let you shrink. Who talk ideas, vision, and impact, not just gossip, distractions, and problems. Because when your circle expands your mind, your life begins to stretch in ways you never imagined. Growth becomes inevitable, not optional. Your environment should reflect your future, not your past. Too many people keep themselves trapped by staying loyal to versions of themselves they've already outgrown. They keep trying to evolve while staying surrounded by the same small talk, the same limited beliefs, the same outdated dynamics. But growth demands space. It demands discomfort. It demands that you make decisions not based on comfort, but based on who you are becoming. And that means being intentional about the people you let into your mind, your energy, your life. You can love someone and still recognize they no longer align with your journey. You can honor the past and still choose to rise above it. When you start leveling up your mindset, not everyone will understand. Some people will feel intimidated, others will feel rejected. And if you're not grounded in your purpose, their opinions will pull you back into a version of yourself you've worked hard to leave behind. But you have to remember, you are not responsible for making other people comfortable with your growth. You are responsible for your evolution. And evolution requires decisions that others may not applaud, but your future will thank you for. It's not about being better than anyone, it's about being better than who you were yesterday. And that journey gets clear when you surround yourself with people on the same path. Look around you. Do the people in your life inspire you, challenge you, hold you accountable? If not, it's time to shift. Because proximity is power. If you want to think bigger, move faster, and go further, you need to align with people who are already doing it or striving toward it. People who talk with purpose, who act with integrity, who dream boldly and live intentionally. People who remind you who you are when you forget. Your circle isn't just your company, it's your mirror. Choose it wisely. Because it will either stretch you to rise or shrink you to fit. There is a silent truth most people never confront. You are always training your mind every single day. The only question is, what are you training it to believe? If you constantly rehearse fear, your mind becomes wired for hesitation. If you dwell in doubt, your mind learns to shrink your potential before you even begin. But if you train it to push through resistance, to think in terms of solutions, to expect growth, then you rewire yourself for resilience. You don't rise by accident. You rise by design. And mindset is not a gift. It's a skill. It's a discipline. And like any muscle, it only grows if you work it, stretch it, test it every single day. Most people treat mindset like it's a motivational poster. Something you read once and hope it sticks. But real mindset work is not passive, it's proactive. It's built through rituals, repetition, and relentless awareness. You can't just want mental strength, you have to train it. You have to choose thoughts that serve your future, not your fears. You have to talk to yourself more than you listen to yourself. Most people wake up and absorb their day. The ones who win, They wake up and direct their day. They speak vision into their morning. They focus their energy with intention. They treat their mind like the control center of their destiny, because it is. Training your mindset means learning to control the narrative. Your mind is always writing a story, and that story is shaping your identity. Every challenge becomes a chapter. Every failure, a plot twist. Every win, a new direction. And if you don't take authorship, your past or your fear will do the writing for you. That's why daily mental conditioning matters. It's not about being positive all the time. It's about being powerful all the time. It's about reclaiming authorship. Replacing "I always mess this up" with "I'm learning to get better." Replacing "this is who I've always been" with "this is who I choose to become." Because identity is not fixed. It's trained. You train your body with weights. You train your skills with practice. But most people forget to train their mindset until life forces them to. A setback hits. A dream fails. A door closes. And suddenly they realize, I don't know how to think through this. That's why the training must happen before the chaos. You don't build strength in the storm, you build it in the calm. When things are stable, you prepare your mind for the moments that won't be. You learn how to breathe through pressure, how to think when emotions scream, how to act when fear gets loud. That's the power of mindset training. It becomes your anchor when everything else shakes. The more you train your mind, the more resilient you become. Things that used to break you now become fuel. Setbacks that once left you shattered now sharpen your focus. Challenges that once made you quit now awaken your fight. Why? Because you've built mental muscle. You faced discomfort on purpose. You've practiced staying grounded when it would have been easier to run. And that kind of mindset doesn't just help you survive, it helps you dominate. You stop looking at life through the lens of why me and start seeing it through watch me. It's not arrogance, it's clarity. Clarity that you've put in the work, that your mind is no longer your enemy, it's your weapon. There's no finish line to this. Mindset is not something you master once and forget. It's something you maintain, reinforce, and elevate every single day. Just like an athlete doesn't stop training after one win, you don't stop sharpening your mind after one breakthrough. You keep going. You keep growing. You keep raising the bar. Because the stronger your mind gets, the fewer excuses you make, and the more unstoppable you become. This is the work most won't do. But it's the work that separates the average from the exceptional. Mindset is everything, and training it is the most powerful investment you'll ever make in yourself. Oh, here's the truth: your mindset will either be the force that drives you forward or the weight that holds you back. Every day, in every decision, you are casting a vote for the person you're becoming. This isn't about motivation. It's not about hype. It's about who you choose to be when no one is watching. When it's hard, when it's lonely, when the world doubts you. That's where your power is built. Not in what you say, but in what you do. Consistently. The rules are simple, but they are not easy. Master your mind and you master your life. Surround yourself with vision, not limitation. Train your thoughts like your future depends on it, because it does. Build discipline like your life is on the line, because it is. This is not a game. This is your life. You get one shot. Make it count. Choose growth over comfort. Choose action over excuses. Choose to rise every single time. Because the only thing standing between the life you have and the life you want is you.